Starting out the day here today at the Groover Funeral Home at Mansion Memorial Cemetery here in Ellenton, Florida. And today's vlog will be more along the lines of somberness and a little bit of a tragedy in life. But let's get started, shall we? Welcome everyone. The Incredible Impression here, coming to you from Bradenton, Florida. Actually, Ellenton, Florida to be exact. It's about 2.5 hours from where I live. The subject of today's vlog, as I said, is going to be sort of a morbid, tragic situation, but it's something that I've been wanting to document for a long time. If any of you ever watched the old Unsolved Mysteries show from back in the 80s and 90s with Robert Stack, which is available on YouTube. You can certainly find it on there. This particular situation is from season 4. It involves a young lady who moved to Manatee County, Florida from Ohio. And in 1981, she fell in love at the age of 18 and got married to a man 46 years old. Long ways apart there. And her name was Annette Schappacher. That was her name, Schappacher. And she met a man named Jim Burnside at a local grocery store here in Manatee County, Florida. And they fell in love and decided to get married. And all of a sudden, as soon as they got married, Jim became an alcoholic, and he was a terrible drunk. And a month after he got married to Annette, he started abusing her physically and emotionally, to the point where just before her 1-year wedding anniversary, she had to take refuge at a local shelter for battered women. And she called him, and she wanted to just let her husband know that she was all right. And immediately he went off, flying off the handle, saying, you know, if you don't come back right now, I'm going to get even with you. You know, I'm going to kill your family. And it was just torture and abuse she was going through. And against her parents' wishes, she went back to him and kept going back to him and back to him, always with the promise of saying, I'm sorry, I'll change. And if you're someone in modern day who has any ounce of common sense, you know when a man or woman says they will change and they're sorry, we all know that's just a bunch of nonsense. So I came all the way down here because, to continue the story, they had 2 daughters later on in their marriage, and Jim became more and more and more abusive to Annette, and eventually she went out and bought a car at a car dealership where she worked, which we're going to go visit after we leave here. But she bought a car and took it home, and less than a week after she brought it home, Jim took a crowbar to it. He shattered the windows, he tore apart the inside. He just went on a drunken rage. And then he came in, and his wife and his 5-year-old daughter were right there, and he shoved them both down on the couch and said, you're never going to leave me. If you leave me, I swear to God, I'll kill you, and I'll kill this entire family. And his daughter, who was 5 years old at the time, looked at him and said, you wouldn't kill me, Daddy, would you? And he looked her right in the eyes and said, yes, I certainly would. I would kill you too. And so the next day, Annette called the police to escort her and her two daughters to safety. And Jim apparently was at work, but when he came home from work, he saw that they weren't there, and he just went into a rage and started calling Annette's family and saying that I will kill you guys if I can't find her, and saying that she will never be able to divorce me because it will never reach its day in court. And you know, people were worried, and unfortunately, we're talking 1989, somewhere around there, 88. You know, the police back then, you know, the laws were different. You know, domestic violence wasn't like it is as serious as it is nowadays. Back then, if someone had a domestic complaint about abuse or something, unfortunately at the time, the police couldn't do anything unless the person actually acted on one of their threats. And 3 days before Annette was scheduled to appear at a court hearing for a divorce, she left her work early that day for a lunch date with one of her co-workers, and just as they were getting ready to pull out of the parking lot, Jim Burnside sped up and parked behind this gentleman's car and got out and shot the man that worked with Annette, and then she got out and took off running, and he ran after her with and produced a 10-inch butcher knife and stabbed her 15 times and ended her life. And she was so young, and it was just, oh, it was just tragic. And so I drove all the way down here today so that I could bring you guys along to pay our respects to Annette Burnside. And I have the map right here that the funeral home gave me, which is very kind of them to let me on the property to do. And I must say, when I go and do vlogs like this, I make no bones about the fact that I'm actually going in there. No pun intended when I say bones. But I make no bones as to the fact that I'm actually going in and filming something. So I'm honest. I say, look, I'm a YouTube vlogger. I go around, I do documentaries, I take pictures and stuff. Do you mind if I go up and take some pictures? And the gentleman here said, usually we don't let anyone but family do that. But since you're putting it out there as a lesson and a inspiration to the world, you know, you are more than welcome to go take some pictures. So using this map, we're gonna now go and find the graveside of Annette Schappacher Burnside. Let's do it. Well, guys, we've arrived. This is the gravesite of Annette Marie Burnside. July 22nd, 1963 to February 17th, 1988. Sad to think that her life was cut short by a possessive husband. She's only 24 years old. My goodness. But yep, that's it. Rest in peace, Annette. Came all the way out here to pay my respects. So sorry you had to go through all that. I just noticed this. It appears her father has been buried here. Possibly her father, Roy Schappacher, 1937 to 2022. And the reason I'm assuming it's her father is because he is directly next to Annette. And Annette's maiden name was Schappacher. Not sure exactly. You know, in the comments section, drop me some comments and let me know if I'm correct on that, was Roy Schappacher, Annette Burnside's father. Okay guys, we are back in the car now. It is a very warm, humid day down here. It's almost 90 degrees as a matter of fact. It's got some light in here. And we are now going to drive approximately 17 to 20 minutes away across the bay to Bradenton to see where the murder actually took place. So, let's go. We've arrived, folks. This is Connolly, GMC, Subaru, and Buick. I'm going to try to turn in here and see if I can get a good place to park at so I can just show you what the setting is like. Okay guys, so I couldn't find the actual location where exactly on the premises the murder took place, but I know for a fact, after reading up on Google and stuff, I know for a fact that it took place here at Connolly Buick GMC, and I just wanted to come by and show you guys this location because this is where the tragedy occurred. Now, from what I told you before and what I understand, Annette got off work for her lunch break and went to meet a co-worker by the name of Dave for lunch that day. And while they were getting ready to leave, Jim Burnside pulled up in his van and took his young wife's life from her. It's just sad to realize that just because a husband is so overpossessive of his wife that he could do such a horrible thing. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, I in no way whatsoever condone domestic violence. I think men who put their wives through that kind of stuff are cowards, and they're just really a load of filth, if you ask me. But I wanted to just show you where all this took place, and this is the surrounding areas here. Look at this. I do apologize for the phone holder on the dashboard getting in the way, but this is pretty much on the borderline of Sarasota, Florida. But what's strange to me is that after committing the murders, remember, he shot her friend Dave with a shotgun, and which obviously made a very loud noise, and then his wife ran away screaming in terror, and he stabbed her 15 times and then disappeared in broad daylight. I don't see how anybody could disappear like that, especially, I mean, I'm guessing back in the day, you know, there was probably there wasn't all this kind of action around here, but, you know, there still was probably a good amount. I just don't understand how he could disappear on foot, nonetheless. Because he drove up in his van, but then he fled the area on foot. And if you watch the Unsolved Mysteries episode, shortly after the murder, they say he purchased a bicycle and some army camouflage gear at a local sporting goods store, and then withdrew $500 from an automatic teller machine around here and simply vanished. Now, eventually, they did end up catching him, Jim Burnside. They caught him in Alabama, I do believe it was Alabama. He was working for a flea market at the time, and he was a construction worker going by the name of Al Wilson. And Unsolved Mysteries also reenacts the capture of him on the night of the broadcast. This couple from where he was residing at recognized him and called the FBI and said, hey, we know who Jim Burnside is. He's living here in Alabama under the name of Al Wilson. And the following day, they checked out the 230 flea market, I believe that, or 280 flea market, whatever it was. It was one of those. I believe it was the 280 flea market. And the police pulled up there with FBI agents, and the groundskeeper there pointed him out to the authorities, and he was working on a roof at the time through a scaffold, and he saw them and took off running for his truck. And when he got in his truck, he pulled a pistol out and started firing upon the officers. But the officers returned rapid fire and hit him twice and placed him under arrest. And he pled no contest to first-degree murder and was given a life sentence. And I don't know what year it was, but a few years ago, he actually died in prison. Which, in my opinion, is exactly what that piece of filth deserved. Because, look, when you marry somebody, when you marry, you're promising under God to love, honor, respect, and cherish your soulmate forever. But unfortunately, in Jim Burnside's case, I do meant I own her. She's mine. I control her. And that is, it's just sad, and it's also disgusting that anyone could think that way. You know, oh, I married her. She's mine now. I can do whatever I want. No, that's not how it works. But anyway, you guys, I just wanted to come out here and do this today. Got a couple other things here that I'm going to document on the vlog. Nothing to do with this subject, but I just wanted to bring it up to you guys because it's something that I've been wanting to vlog for a long time, and today I finally got a chance to bring it to you guys. So let's move on to some things that are a little bit happier. What do you say? Okay guys, so I was gonna go to Guitar Center, but I found out that they are about an hour away from where I'm at right now, so I'm not gonna be going there today. So, but before I end the vlog, there is one more thing actually that I want to show you, and that is about 4 miles up the road here. I'm now in downtown Sarasota, Florida, right along the waterfront. You can see the boats and the marina out there. But what I want to show you is this. A 70-foot tall sculpture called Unconditional Surrender. As you can tell, it might look very familiar. It's a depiction of the famous photo on V-Day in New York City, when the sailor grabbed this random lady after the war was over and simply kissed her. Now, the sculpture was made by a man named SEWARD Johnson, who was from New Jersey, and he is best known also for making the giant Marilyn Monroe statue that is currently out in Palm Springs, California. He's done a rendition of American Gothic, but this is Unconditional Surrender. Look at this. Look at how massive this is. Huge. Over here, they have a plaque to it. Unconditional surrender. The profound joy portrayed in this sculpture was prompted by the spontaneous surrender of the Japanese, thus ending World War II on August 14, 1945. Among the celebrants in Times Square in New York City were a United States sailor and a nurse embracing amidst the multitude of joy makers. This celebrated moment in history of our nation prompted prominent American sculptor J. Seward Johnson to create this sculpture, which he named Unconditional Surrender. Isn't that beautiful? Here at the waterfront in Sarasota, Florida. Beautiful. Stands this. Massive. That's going to do it for today, you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to it. And if you like this video today, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I'll be popping some links in the description below to the Unsolved Mysteries YouTube segment on Annette Burnside. And I'll also post a link to the Unsolved Mysteries fandom page, which has the story of Annette as well. And also check me out on Facebook under Zach Arnold, ZACHARNOLD. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.